be nervous enough because of all the smut and the shifteredness. I don't know. I can't say this word. Yeah. Oh, it's just you. You scared me. I thought you were Captain Stone. Don't sneak up on me like that. But since you're not Captain Stone, wanna try it? I know, we got caught with these, we'd be in big trouble. But do you see Captain Stone anywhere? No. She's probably off with Brad somewhere. I haven't seen her all day. So... oh, okay, fine, party booper. Well, wanna see some other contraband that I got? Okay, good. I got some books and I've been dying to show someone. Come on. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today I'm going to be doing my January TBR. Hopefully you enjoyed that little intro. If you understood the intro, then you understood the assignment. You are my people. If you didn't understand the intro, that's fine. We can still be friends. So for those of you who don't already know, I am one of the co-hosts for the Bootcamp Readathon, which is hosted by Tangent Reads, aka Courtney. I'm also going to be participating in the TBRATHON, which is hosted by Leandra, the TBR Zero. I'm also going to be participating in Bub's Wordathon this year. And then I also just have like goals in general that I'm trying to hit. And so I have compiled a list of books that I plan to read that will meet multiple different goals that I am trying to achieve this year. So without further ado, we are going to jump right into my January TBR. So the first book on the list is actually my book club, the So Shelf-Centered Book Club's pick for January, and that is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Now this book is part of a series, but I believe they're like interconnected standalone, so you don't have to read them together. You can read them individually. This is part of the like Love Hypothesis series. I think it's the Love Hypothesis, and I forget what the second book is called, and then this is the third book in the series. I have not read the first two. I don't know if I ever will. I don't really have any intentions on reading the first two, but maybe, who knows. But this was the one that sounded the most interesting to me based on like the synopsis on the back, which leads me to one of the prompts for the bingo board is to read a book that you were hooked by the back cover, so that would apply here. But it's basically, I think if my memory serves, this book is about a girl who she's like a physicist, or she's some kind of like scientist during the day. Like she has like a day job, but at night she like moonlights as like an escort almost, or something along those lines. And so she ends up connecting with like one of the guys that she was like an escort for. I think like his brother or his uncle or something like that. And so they end up having to like meet in the daytime. This will also serve as the revelry prompt for Bootcamp Readathon, which is to read an audiobook. Pretty much all the books I'll be reading will be on audio as well. I'm probably gonna hybrid read most of these, but if I had to give it to just one book, I'm gonna give it to this one. And then for the BOOKEMON, this is gonna count towards one of my like winter seasonal BOOKEMON prompts, which is the Firefly, which is a bright cover. Also a buddy read / book club for the bingo board. So like I said, this is my book club book for the So Shelf-Centered Book Club. New to you author. I have never read anything by Ali Hazelwood before, so this is my first experience with that author. Go-to genre, because my go-to genres, you guys already know, is rom-coms and like thriller, mystery, suspense. So there we go with that one. And then glowing review for the bingo board, which I think the books have to be like 4+ stars on Goodreads, so this one fits the bill. Also, anything that is considered glowing review, it is based on the day that I'm filming this. Obviously we know that ratings can change, so as of the date that I'm filming this, this would count as a glowing review. Also, it has an orange cover, so if you are looking for a book club or a book to read as like a read along or whatever for the BOOKEMON Readathon, but also just in general, feel free to join the Discord down below in the description. The next book on the list is Death Note, the Black Edition, Volume 4. So Volume 4 I think contains like the 6th, 7th, and 8th or something like that volumes. I don't remember exactly which ones is included in this volume 4 bind up for the Black Edition, but I'm going to be reading that. This book basically follows a guy who finds a notebook. Turns out this notebook, if you write somebody's name in it, they die. There's a bunch of rules that go along with it. I've talked about this series multiple times on my channel. last year and the year before, so feel free to check out any of those videos. I'm not going to go into like a whole synopsis for this series, but it's really, really interesting, and the storyline just keeps getting better and better. This is one of the few series that I have like read where it just continues to get better. I would have thought at some point, a lot of times series when they go on too long, they just kind of just slowly start going downhill, but this one I am still very happy with. I'm still very much enjoying, so very much looking forward to this. So that is going to count towards Class A, which is read a manga for the Bootcamp Readathon. It is also going to go towards my UFO prompt for BOOKEMON, which is to read a 400+ page book in one day. And then also it's the next book in the series. So for the bingo board, also you guys know that 2024 for me is going to be the year of the series. So it is me continuing a book in a series that I've already started, and then also glowing review. The next book on the list is Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I have never read anything by this author, so this is technically a new to me author as well. But I'm going to be reading this for the dumbbell prompt for the Bootcamp Readathon, which is to read a banned book. This book is also pretty short. I'm also doing a read-along for this. Coda and I have decided that we're going to do a read-along, so if you are interested in that, I will have the link down below in the description. Again, if you are looking for something for your volcanic rock prompt, which is where you have to read a buddy read-along, book club book 6 months in a row, you can feel free to join this one if you're looking for something still. That's what I will be using for my volcanic rock prompt for January, is this book. Also, this will count towards my old and dusty prompt for the bingo board for TBRATHON. I don't fully know what Animal Farm is about. I think it has something to do with like animals who are trying to take over a farm, hence the name Animal Farm. But I think there's also some like underlying messaging that has something to do with like the war or like Russia or something. I don't fully know, so wish me luck. Next up is The Alpha's Mate by Piper Fox, and this book, my understanding, is a short, steamy shifter romance, which I have never read anything like that before. I've never read a shifter romance. I am honestly quite nervous going into that because I don't fully know what that means, so I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. So you can check off the prompt on the bingo board for going in blind, because that's about all I know. I think they are wolves. There might even be like some vampires or something involved in this story. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not exactly sure. This is indie published, so you can check that off on the bingo board. It is also a debut of sorts. I wasn't quite sure how to interpret that prompt on the bingo board. I didn't know if it meant a debut author, where like this author just came out like recently, or if it just needed to be that author's debut book. So I wasn't really sure how to you know, approach that, but I decided to go with the route of this was the author's first book, not so much that it's a new author. So this author has been around for several years, but this is this author's debut book, which came out I think in 2020 maybe. I think the author may have some books that predate this one, but they were like co-authors on those books. So this is their first like solo debut. This is going to count for my low crawl prompt for the Bootcamp Readathon, which is to read a book that is under 100 pages. Also, this is going to count for my ant prompt, because the ant prompt for BOOKEMON is also to read a book that is under 100 pages. The next book on the list is Out There Screaming, and this I believe is an anthology, so I'm not sure who all the authors are that have written short stories for this book. This is also going to count towards, I think I have a goal to read an anthology, which I have a goals video that is coming out soon, but I wanted to get this video out first. But that is one of my goals, is to read like an anthology, so this will be able to check that off. Also, if you are participating or have seen the video for Buzzwordathon, then you know that the prompt for January is like there. So there you go. This is going to be my class 6 prompt for Bootcamp Readathon, which is to read a horror or an erotica. In this case, Out There Screaming, I believe, is an anthology collection of like short horror stories written by Black authors. So this could also double as like the BIPOC one, but I have a different book for that. We'll get to that later. Also, going in blind, it counts for that. And then also check off the influenced by social media prompt for the bingo board, because I didn't even know this book existed until people started talking about it in sprints one day, and I was like, okay, like I'll give it a try, and so here we are. The next book, I am not going to say what the name of it is. I'm also not going to show you the cover, because this is the book that I'm reading from my 5-star exchange, season 2, part 2. I don't really know what to call it, but if you guys watched the first round of the 5-star exchange that I did back in, was it September or October? Either way, I'll link the playlist down below in case you want to check that out, where me and a couple of other booktubers got together and secretly exchanged our 5-star books and had each other read each other's 5-star books without knowing like whose was whose. But we are doing round 2, and that will be coming out in the coming weeks. So I'm not going to spoil that video by telling you what book I read for it, but just know that this book fulfills many prompts. It looks like I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like it's going to fulfill. I can only tell you 4 of the 8 because the other 4 will probably give away what the book is. Not right now, but like once you start that video, you'll immediately know which of the books on the list I ended up reading based on what prompts it fulfilled. So the ones that I can tell you without giving too much away is that this is going to fulfill my pull-ups prompt for the Bootcamp Readathon, which is to read a book that is over 400 pages. And it is also going to fulfill my shovel prompt for BOOKEMON, which is to read a book that is over 500 pages. It is also a new to me author, and it is an intimidating title. So a book that is like intimidating, and the reason why it's intimidating is because it is over 400 and over 500 pages. So those are the prompts that I can tell you about so far. The next book on the list, I'm honestly surprised. Out of the TBR videos that I have watched, nobody has sent this book for this prompt. So I am going to be reading Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros for the Hummer prompt, which is a book with military characters. This will also count towards my ladder prompt for BOOKEMON, which is a book with a hierarchical system, like hierarchies. It'll count towards that because they have like different rankings and stuff within their like military and college system. There's like different rankings and stuff like that. It is also the next book in a series. It is an intimidating title because it is again very long. That book is like 600 some pages and it's like a 28-hour audiobook, so very intimidated. That's honestly the reason why I haven't picked it up yet. I got it when it first came out. I literally like pre-ordered it, so I've had it for what, like almost 2 months now. Haven't touched it because I'm very intimidated by the size. That's what she said. It is also the newest release that I own, so check that off the bingo board. And once again, glowing review. The next book on the list is actually 2 books, but they are the first books in a series, and that is Shatter Me. I don't know how to say the author's name. I used to say Tahire Mafi, but I know that that's not right, but I don't know how to properly say it. But yeah, I'm gonna be rereading, I should say, Shatter Me, because I did read that back in 2022 and I gave it 5 stars, but I'm gonna be rereading it because out of that series, that's the only book that I've read so far. So I figure if I'm gonna go back into the series, might as well reread the first book, since that's as far as I got anyway. This will be my first time ever rereading a book, so I'm kind of excited but also nervous because I don't know if I'm gonna feel the same way about it now that I felt about it, you know, in 2022. And I will also be reading Destroy Me, which is the novella that comes right after Shatter Me. Now these books are going to cover the Burpee prompt, which is a book by a BIPOC author. It's also going to cover the Telescope prompt, which is to read a book with the night sky on the cover. It is going to check off the Forgotten on My Shelf prompt for the bingo board. And it's also considered a glowing review. And it will check off my book bestie approved prompt for the bingo board because Katie from I Would Rather Be Reading loved this book, so I am very excited to check that off. And I will be vlogging this experience, or at least I plan to, so you guys will get to see. I don't know if I've talked about this on my channel. I think I have. I do plan on doing vlogs for each individual book that I'm reading in any series that I'm starting. So if it's a series that I'm already in the middle of, I won't be doing vlogs for those. But if it is a book that a series that I'm starting, I plan on doing what I'm basically going to consider like series recaps or like series summaries. So if you are also reading the series or thinking about reading the series or read it and stopped in the middle and need a refresher, you can go back to these vlogs and you can not only see, you know, get like a recap, but you'll also be able to see what my thoughts and initial reactions were to the things that were happening in these books. So that will also be coming to you in 2024. And then the last book on this list is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is part of the Carval series. I read Carval in December with Katie during her read along for Carval, and so I will be picking up Legendary this month hopefully, and I will be reading this book. This is going to be my Christmas tree prompt, which is to read a sparkly cover and then also a name in the title because the character's name is Legendary. Also next book in the series because like I said, this is part of the Carvel series, and also a glowing review. So that is the quick and dirty of all the books that I plan on reading for the month of January. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan on participating in any readathons. Which readathons are you participating in? As always, my socials and links will be down below in the description. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I'd love to have you as part of the fam. Now, what do you say we go paint Captain Stone's hair again? Okay, let's go.